back. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here with part 2 of the reasons why you need to stop waiting for other people to make you happy. That is Self-Care 101. Your self-care is linked to your perception of your expectations of waiting for someone else to bring happiness into your life. If this is where you are, this is an honest conversation to have with yourself, because this self-care journey, right? It is something that is very personal, and it's evolving. And what I find too in the self-care journey is, as I continue in my journey, I see things about myself, I see vulnerabilities about myself that come up. And what I'm accustomed to doing is, when I feel or I notice a vulnerability come up within me, I'll press it down, I'll push it back down, because I don't want that to surface. But what I'm learning through this journey is that as it come up, instead of pressing it back down or suffocating it, I allow it to emerge, I face it, and I understand it, where it's coming from, and kind of get to the root of why that insecurity maybe always surfaces in this type of particular context or that context. What's going on inside of me? And so this journey of self-care and in preventing yourself from holding other people responsible for your happiness is so deep and it's so powerful. I went over a few reasons in part 1 of this video about reasons why you need to stop holding people hostage to make you happy. It's not their responsibility. And I will say it again, it's such a burden. It's a burden on so many levels. It is a burden. I don't ever want to be a burden to anybody. And some people do not understand that when you do that, even in the context of a relationship and a friendship, nobody wants to have that friend that's always burdening them with, you have to entertain them, or you have to find something to make them feel better about themselves. It's exhausting. And in recognizing that, instead of putting yourself in a position that you're that friend that's draining other people, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, let me change this narrative. Let me change this story. And I wanted to move forward in this video, part 2, in understanding that freeing people from making you happy, it gives you such a strong sense of empowerment and independence. I have always been an independent person, even from the time I was a child. Even when I didn't know what I was doing, I just always wanted to be able to do things by myself. And finding happiness within yourself, it strengthens your self-confidence and your resilience. You are in this world by yourself to a certain degree, in the sense that it's a lot of things that you have to do independently. You have to. Decisions you have to make, burdens you have to bear, victories you have. A lot of that is independent. When you allow yourself to be responsible for your own happiness, it allows you to navigate challenges of life with greater autonomy. You know what I mean? When things happen in your life, you're not so weak and fragile that you just crumble under the pressure because you don't have external resources to pull to hold you up from within. And that's what I mean when I say we live in this life. A lot of it is independent, because a lot of the stuff that we have to deal with, the challenges that we have to face, it has to come from this internal fortitude. And either you have built it or you have not built it. It's something that some people seem to have it naturally, but I believe that we build it like we build muscle. You work at it, you work at it, you work at it. And when those opportunities come for you to strengthen your internal fortitude, you're not, and you take those challenges and you conquer those challenges, you're not looking for people to make you happy anymore. You're over it. Like, it's such a sense of freedom. Like, what? I'm not looking for anybody to make me happy. When you can get to that place in your life, you free yourself and you free others too. The independence that you have when you no longer are waiting for somebody to make you happy gives you the independence to take on new challenges more courageously. When you're the person that's waiting for somebody to always be your yes man or give you this nod of approval, stop looking for a nod. Nod yourself. Nod yourself. Because a lot of times you're not going to get approval. And now what? You stop doing what you're doing? It's a different perspective. Another reason why holding people hostage is a no-no for your happiness is that when you release them from that burden of trying to make you happy, you have a freedom from external validation. Your happiness is no longer focused or centered on external validation. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that the validation, when it comes from within, it's an endless source. It's like an endless spring. It reminds me of the verse in the Bible that says, "Out of my belly shall flow rivers of living water." That's what it reminds me of. The fact that we can continue to perpetuate our own happiness, our own peace, our own joy. We don't need external validation. And here's the thing, and I'm going to be very transparent here. A lot of times I have found myself in some of the most vulnerable situations and some of the most deprivating situations. I have literally placed myself in that situation. I'm going to be 100 with you. And I'm saying that because in hindsight, it's 2020. When I look back and I see my own vulnerabilities and I see how I looked for other people to validate me. I did. I wanted a nod. I wanted, like, you good. I needed it. It's one thing to enjoy having it, and it's another thing to need it and not be able to function if you do not have it. That's an entirely different story. When you have an internal sense of validation, it fosters a strong sense of self-worth and authenticity. Like, I'm good. Like this inner sense that I'm okay, that I'm going to be okay. Like when you can rally up that energy and that positivity within yourself without the help of others. Listen, when other people come around, it adds to what you already have. Perfection. That is perfect. But when you can't get that fire started without having that external validation in order for you to be happy, you're in trouble. Because guess what? It may never come. It may never come. This is about growth and being a sense of self-awareness and awakening. Everybody wake up at different times. And you can't make anybody else wake up. What you need to do is focus on yourself. The work that it takes to be happy and to sustain your own happiness, that takes energy that you don't even have to be focusing on nobody else. When I do my own work about my own happiness and my own peace and my own joy, by the time I finish doing that work, I don't even have time. Things that I have been stressed about or things that I feel like somebody have slighted me about, once I start doing the work on myself, I forget about that other stuff that did not happen on someone else's behalf or someone else's part. I forget. It's not that important anymore. And so when you focus on you making yourself happy, you are free from external validation. That is powerful. If you look at a lot of celebrities, and if you hear a lot of celebrities talk, especially the older seasoned celebrities, you'll often hear them say, like, I don't even read I don't even watch social media like that. I don't even look at the comments, whether they're good or whether they're bad. You hear them say that a lot. It doesn't matter whether they're talking good about me. It doesn't matter whether they're talking bad about me. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because they're moving beyond and the reason they're seasoning, right? Let's just understand that whole idea of being seasoned. Seasoned just means that you can take the hit of this and a hit of that and a hit of this, and you still absorb it for you to become a more flavorful, a more exuberant individual. You seasoned. You done been through some stuff already. You done been hit, right? They say that it doesn't matter what people say about them anymore. They don't even focus on that because they're focused on what they're doing. They got to move forward in their own energy. They have to move forward in their own goals and their own passions and their own dreams. It's no longer about what other people are saying about them. It's no longer about that. And the younger ones, you will see a lot of times, they fall, they collapse. These celebrities, they collapse because there's so much pressure from the external disapproval. Because whatever can build you up can tear you right down. And I'm saying that to say, I'm using the celebrity analogy because I want you to understand, if you allow people to bring you up, if that is your source of validation, if that is what makes me feel that I am or I can or I have or I am the cat's meow because it came from here and it came from there, it has to come from within yourself. It has to come from within. If you want to be the cat's meow, be your own cat's meow. Allow your internal validation to be so strong that it mutes out anything that's external. Your internal validation is sustainable, it's consistent, it perpetuates, it doesn't stop. As long as you keep doing the work on yourself, and as long as you keep planting yourself in this rich soil of positivity, in this rich soil of growth, you'll be perfectly fine. You'll be fine. Holding somebody else responsible for your happiness is toxic as ever. It's detrimental to your self-care on every single level. I want to tell you one more thing about releasing other people. Releasing other people from your happiness to make you happy. It also eases your stress and your anxiety. Because now your validation is not always it's like you put yourself in this strict and crazy position that you're allowing somebody else's metric to measure how happy you are. If they feel like they're going to say certain things or do certain things that may lend to your happiness, then you're good. But when you let that go, your stress levels, your anxiety levels ease. Because whether they're happy or not, you're doing what you have to do within to maintain your own balance. You have to maintain your own balance, your own happiness. So never mind what other people are saying about your happiness or doing to promote your happiness. It's not their responsibility to promote your happiness. Stop it. And when you need that, you need to check yourself for real. That's what this self-care journey is about. Sometimes you're looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, yo, self, you out of order. You're out of order. Let's get the work done. You have to do the work. The work doesn't just come just because you say, hey, I'm going to join this self-care group. No, you have to do the work. That means sometimes you have to reprimand yourself. You have to discipline yourself. You have to do the work. You must do the work. If you're not willing to, when you do the work, right? See, teaching, let me say this in the right way. There's a saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Right? That means when you're ready to change and you're ready to be real with yourself and face those demons that's been haunting you for your entire life, that teacher, that training, that process that you need to go through will appear. And you have to be willing to do that work. You can read all you want about self-care. You could take every single course on self-care. But if you don't do the work, change will never happen. I want to see change within me. I want to see change within those that are around me, that are associated with me. Change. Not just talking about it, not just warming up. It's like a car that you cut on and you rev the engine, and you just rev the engine, and you keep revving. You rev the engine, and you continue to rev the engine for hours. You burning gas, revving the engine, but the car never went anywhere. When you do the work, you start moving the car. You start taking the journey. You start seeing change happen. And there's no greater joy, right? There's no greater joy than learning to appreciate, love yourself, and sustain the happiness that you have. And if you don't have it, to foster, to bring in the happiness that you so desperately desire. It's in your hand, and that's the thing. Like, sometimes we don't want to get that. It's in your hands. You know you can't control everything around you. Every circumstance is not going to be happy. Everything that you do is not going to be a joyful experience. But you have to make up in your mind that, I'll say it like this, happiness is a choice. Being happy is a choice. Every day I wake up, I can find a reason to be mad and disgruntled. I can if I want to, but I choose not to. I don't want to focus on that. What do we always say on this channel? Wherever your attention goes, energy flows. I don't want to put energy into anything that is going to bring me a negative result. It's all about doing the work. You got to do the work. Release people from your happy. It's not their responsibility. It's not their responsibility. Stop it. And Your self-care suffers because of it, because now you're waiting for that person now. You're waiting. Stop waiting for somebody to make you happy. It's ridiculous. Stop it. It's your responsibility. You start doing the work. You start holding yourself accountable. You start looking at yourself in the mirror saying, nah, that's not cool. Like, we have to change. Look at yourself in the mirror. Michael Jackson said it best. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. I'm so serious. My God. My man. Thank you so much for joining us for this Bojoul video. Stop holding people accountable for your happiness. Stop it. I'm grateful today to join you. This conversation really touched me, because I promise you, as I speak, my words come back to me. They're coming out of me, and I hear them, and they reverberate, and they come back around into my ears, into my heart, to my soul. And it makes me also check areas in my life like, let me see if I'm still low-key holding somebody hostage. And I don't want to do that. It's a decision that I have to do the work. The work. Don't hold your parents hostage. Don't hold your children hostage. Don't hold anybody hostage to make you happy. It's a burden. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you so much. This is the Bojoul channel, home of self-care, wellness, every and anything that will help you become the greatest and highest version of yourself. Thank you so much for joining us again. And remember, self-care is the best care. Later.